Misogyny, hatred, or revenge? One theory that greatly caused a stir was what influenced his hunger for death. What were the motives that drove Jack the Ripper, and how he became history's most infamous serial killer? In today's video, we explore some of the possible motives behind the Ripper's murders. Jack the Ripper was a serial killer that has gone down in history as one of the most horrific killers. In 1888, he was credited with killing 5 or possibly more prostitutes in Whitechapel, England. With multiple suspects, the police could never find any definitive evidence to link any of the suspects to the crimes. While there was still speculation that he never stopped killing, none of the murders, after the canonical 5, could be tied to Jack the Ripper murders. So till to this day, Jack the Ripper is depicted as just a shadowy figure who maybe continues to linger on in the shadows of society. Stay with us, and let's find out some theories that explain the possible reasons why Jack killed. Nobody knows why Jack did what he did since he was never caught. We can maybe assume it was most likely because killing women gave him a strong sexual high. Probably he had a fetish for humiliating or controlling women. And there's no greater control than being able to take someone's life with much of the mutilation occurring to the breasts and sexual organs. In 1929, amateur crime writer Leonard Matters proposed one of the earliest theories in his book, The Mystery of Jack the Ripper, which was the first of its kind to investigate the Ripper's crimes. According to Leonard Matters, Jack the Ripper was out for vengeance on the prostitutes who he believed murdered his son. His theory revolves around Dr. Stanley's character, who worked as an early cancer specialist at a London hospital, while also maintaining a private practice in Portman Square. According to legend, Herbert Stanley, Dr. Stanley's son, was a frequent visitor to East London and had fallen for a prostitute, Mary Jane Kelly, one of the Ripper's victims. Mary Jane, unknown to Herbert, was suffering from syphilis, which he contracted and died from 2 years later. So seeking vengeance for what he perceived to be his son's murder, Dr. Stanley tracked down Mary Jane, killing and mutilating her and other women he believed led similar lifestyles that contributed to his son's death. And the skills during the mutilations also confirmed the Ripper was probably a doctor, just like the character Dr. Stanley. Finally, he finds Kelly. He exacts his revenge before fleeing to Argentina. Although there is little conclusive evidence to back this fact up, a remarkable theory inspired an early Hollywood film on the subject back in the 1950s. Before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This way, you don't miss out on more content like this. Another most likely explanation, however, points to some level of sadism, even insanity, on the part of Jack the Ripper. Certainly, given the fact that the level of violence escalated as the murders progressed, more parts were ripped out, and the mutilations got severe, it appears unlikely that a sane person would have done that. You can find out more about Jack's killings in our other video, The Shocking Revelation of Infamous Killer Jack the Ripper. A number of suspects had some form of sadistic or misogynistic tendencies, or worse. If we are looking for another reason to pin why the Ripper did what he did, we could always look at other serial killers and their motivations. For example, Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, had a deep hatred for prostitutes and told police that he was doing the world a favor by ridding the world of immoral and evil women when he was apprehended. So perhaps Jack the Ripper believed he too was on a moral mission to rid the world of what he saw as an immoral vice. And finally, what if Jack the Ripper didn't have a genuine motive? What if, like many serial killers before him, he simply killed for the sake of killing? Serial killers do not need any real connection to their victims, and they are merely opportunistic. And when you look at Jack the Ripper's victims, it makes a lot more sense that he chose them as easy targets. Prostitutes who made their money by having affairs with strangers and transporting them away from the busy main street to a private location away from prying eyes. The killer makes no effort to entice his victims. They simply make it easy for him. There are several theories surrounding Jack the Ripper and the reasons why he killed. In the end, some said he killed himself out of remorse, and some said he was an outsider who returned home. Some said he had a plan to kill a certain number of women and stopped, and others also think he was finally arrested, convicted, and sent to prison. There will always be theories and facts about Jack the Ripper, but we will never know for sure who he was or why he did what he did. This brings us to the end of the video. Make sure to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.